Night in Houston, they lost by 2 points, 115 to 113, but had two chances in the final 30 seconds to tie it or win it. Kawhi Leonard was charged with an offensive foul, and Nicholas Batum committed a violation on an inbounds pass. Third straight loss for the Clippers. They fall to 6-19. The loss ruined a great game for Clippers center Ivica Zubac. He made 13 of 14 shots to end up with a game-high 33 points. The Lakers are off until Sunday night at Phoenix. USC's football team might have to play their entire home schedule in 2028 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood because of the Summer Olympics. The track and field competition in 2028 will be in the Coliseum, USC's home field since 1923. UCLA is also considering moving its home football games to SoFi, but on a permanent basis. UCLA has played their home games at the Rose Bowl since 1982. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Celebrate the soul of the holidays and support Altadena and Pasadena. Join us on Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, a joyful night of Motor City soul, gospel, and holiday classics featuring an 18-piece band, all-star vocalist, and community choirs, all in support of the Black LA Relief and Recovery Fund. This performance comes at a pivotal time for many in Altadena and Pasadena. This is their first holiday season since the devastating Altadena Eden Canyon fire, which destroyed homes and community spaces. While the physical losses are immense, the power of community remains, and your attendance directly supports recovery, resilience, and renewal. So, be sure to join us Monday, December 15th, 7 p.m. inside the Bram Goldsmith Theater at the Wallace in Beverly Hills for Soul of the Holidays, benefiting survivors of the Altadena Eden Canyon fire. For ticket information, just log on to tickets@thewallace.org. That's tickets@thewallace.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580 and the Black Freedom Fund.
KBLA Talk 1580. We need a few trillion, and we focus on that debt every single Friday, second hour of the show. It's called Freedman Friday. We take a look at reparations in a comprehensive conversation that is meant to make sure that we are up on what is going on, well informed, part of the solution, part of the momentum. And there's a lot to keep up with, even in these crazy, Trumpy times. People are keeping it moving on the local, state, and county level. I'm being joined today by a social justice advocate and community organizer. She's known for her involvement in the Black Lives Matter movement, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. She says she's had a passion for justice since being a little kid. An organizer, of course, vocal abolitionist during the 2020, worked with the movement for Black Lives, and continues her journey as an activist working now at the Detroit Justice Center. Welcome to the co-chair of the Detroit Reparations Task Force, Cidney Calloway. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm blessed. It's reparatory rising, as we like to say on Fridays. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. One of the things that I like to point out is, for me, one of the signs of momentum is the fact that more cities have taken up reparations as a commission, a task force, some kind of initiative, even though we have this federal thing that's been sitting there since the 80s and has not made it, onto the floor for a vote. On a local level, on a state level, and most remarkably on a city level, reparations is being taken up. So tell us about what the task force looks like in Detroit.
Yeah, so in the city of Detroit, there was a ballot initiative that went out in a 2021 vote during an election. And I believe we're still one of the first cities to actually have our city vote on putting together this task force or commission. We were seated in 2023, and we just completed and published our report October 31st, 2025. So that's available online through the city of Detroit at detroitmi.gov/reparations. It's a body of, I think there were 13 of us, and it was a lot of work. So we had our meetings weekly. We held quite a few public sessions over the course of the last year, making sure that we were staying grounded and informed by our neighbors, because I don't like to call them constituents or community members. It's like, these are our neighbors, these are our family and friends. But yeah, it was a lot of really good work, and I don't think I was anticipating just how emotional this work would be. I joined as the youngest person on this task force and was quickly elevated into a leadership position.
Nice.
And just honored to do the work. It was an intergenerational journey and an intergenerational lift. So I got to learn quite a bit, not only about the movement, but about my city and the experiences of my elders, but then also quite a bit about myself. So that's pretty much the formation of the task force here in the city of Detroit.
And talk to me a little bit about who those other 13 folks are and what the process was that you went through before handing over this report.
Yeah, so in 2021, of course, again, a ballot initiative was passed. I believe 85% of the city of Detroit voted to have that commission formed, or our task force formed. Then we went through an interview process. So they opened up applications and you applied to be considered. Then after being considered, you went through an interview process with our city council. And then after that, city council members, which are, I think, nine, well, I know it's 9, voted on whether or not you would join the task force. Besides myself, the majority of the task force were our academicians, and even more so were abolitionists and activists in their own right. So quite a few Africana studies professors, quite a few principals of Afro-centered schools here in the city of Detroit, quite a lot of PhDs. So it was an amazing space to be in. So much knowledge. And again, just because they're educators, there was a lot of conversation about how we continue to educate not only our neighbors, but everyone else interested in moving us forward about reparations and how it's more than just a cash payment.
And certainly from what I can see online, you've got Detroit all aflame intellectually, politically, yes, talking about this report. You delivered it. What do you expect the next steps to be? And then let's talk about some of the issues that you've brought to the forefront here.
Yeah, so we actually just had an election here in the city, and we'll be getting our first Black woman mayor coming up. So we are in the process of, we're in the process of ideating around what we want to see for her first 100 days to make sure that reparations and repair for the Black community here is at the forefront of all of her initiatives and all of her, just her goals over her first 100 days, and then also how to continue that throughout the duration of her administration. So we're in conversation right now amongst ourselves about how we get that conversation going. Not only talking to her as the mayor, Mary Sheffield as the mayor, but talking to her team and her department heads and her administrative people, just to make sure that, that we keep this momentum going and that we are just we're making progress as a city, because that 85% that voted for this initiative back in 2021, those are imaginaries, right? Those are our visionaries, and they're like, they see the potential of Detroit, and they see Detroit in a new light, and they want to make sure that this first step is taken.
I mean, what surprises me about, well, a couple things surprise me about what you just said. One, the fact that you're getting your first black woman mayor, because Detroit has a huge black population. It's not like LA where we have something like 8% of us in the population.
Right.
When we elect a black mayor, that's amazing, black woman mayor. I'm just shocked that it took that long over there.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had a black mayor since the 70s, and then Mayor Duggan for the past 12 years, who was a white man. But this is our first black woman mayor.
Right.
And I think that's the most surprising part of it all, for sure, the women that are stepping into these prominent roles across the country, finally. But yeah, definitely here in the city of Detroit, where we're about 75% black. And I know people are always like, well, Jackson and like Atlanta, Houston, but like, no, Detroit is the blackest city in America, sitting around 452,000 black people. So, yeah, that is a little surprising, but again, it's progress that we have to make. And it depends on mentalities and ideals and just things that we were taught, things that we're learning and unlearning.
So, and then the other part of that is, I mean, I guess to me, it's not super duper surprising. Well, 85% is pretty big approval. You know, our country was in a different mindset then. Sadly, we're in full on backlash right now. But still, with such a large black population, it's great, but still not totally shocking. But now I was surprised to see the amount of, well, I don't know why I was surprised. I guess because I'm thinking, well, Detroit is a black city, but the amount of pushback in the press saying, oh, this is too expensive, it's unrealistic, it's activist agenda, blah, blah, blah. Were you surprised by that?
No, just because you do. Well, sometimes I appreciate the people who are thinking in real terms, but again, the world's not going to move forward and change unless we envision what that change is. Everything that we do was an idea at one time. Everything that exists was an idea at one time. And so the people who are like, oh, we can't do this, or this is unaccomplishable, it's like they said the same thing about slavery, right? So we were all, and that was a legal thing. It was on the books once upon a time. There was a whole war about it. It's not surprising that a lot of people don't have those imaginations anymore, and they can't really envision a new world. But everybody's like, you want to be the change, be the change you want to see, create the change you want to see. And it's like, this is our opportunity to really do that. And it's one step at a time. And this report is the first step in a long journey to come. Yes,
indeed. We're talking with Cidney Calloway, the co-chair of the Reparations Task Force in the city of Detroit, to find out what's in your report and what you're doing about it when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2025, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-260-3330. That's 800-260-3330. Find out if you qualify today. 800-260-3330, or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Celebrate good times, come on!
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Cidney Calloway is my guest. She's the co-chair of the Detroit Reparations Task Force. It's almost a 600-page document that you guys plopped down in your city just about a month ago, and it's pretty comprehensive. Let's talk about some of the things that you have put forth in this report. It's not just facts; it's also recommendations here.
Yes, absolutely. So that ballot initiative that was voted on back in 2021 explicitly stated that we are to recommend items around economic development and housing. But once we got the group together, the task force was like, we would be remiss if we didn't touch on everything that is umbrellaed under those items, housing and economic development. So yes, our first couple of recommendations focus on those two topics, but the rest of the report touches on everything that's impacted or impacts those topics. So there's cultural recommendations, there's recommendations around education and quality of life, there's recommendations around of course, the economic development and housing, but we just wanted to make sure there was we took a holistic approach to our recommendations. And our number one recommendation is the development of an office so that we can dedicate all of our time and focus on repairing our communities.
Right, and it's it also includes cash. I mean, it's not only policy recommendations.
Correct. And then the way that we approached the cash recommendation was not to give them a direct number because we wanted to allow space for variety, knowing and understanding that Black people in the city and the Detroit experience is not monolithic. It's not one size fits all. So $25,000 might be great for one instance and one individual, but $25,000 for a family may not deliver the same type of repair. So we wanted to make sure that there was space to make sure that everybody got what they deserved and demanded.
You guys are pretty specific, though. Housing grants up to $40,000, right?
Yes.
Construction of affordable housing units for African American residents, priced at 50% of the area median income. Rent control, to me, that doesn't sound like reparations. It sounds like good policy. Doesn't sound like reparations, but I see that you do have that in here.
Yes.
And then grants of up to $100,000 to businesses displaced by prior urban renewal and development projects. I mean, lots of rent-free space for eligible Black-owned businesses within new commercial strip malls for 5 years. I guess that's kind of like a starter kit for Black businesses. I mean, you have very specific recommendations. How did you guys come to these?
Yeah, so again, going back through our history and understanding the demographic, we noticed and watched and observed what was taken from us during a lot of pivotal moments throughout the city of Detroit's history. And we wanted to make sure that those people were repaired equivalently to the way that they were harmed, right? So we had the help of the University of Michigan with our harms report. We had the help of Howard University's Law School and Columbia University with our impact analysis. And the data that we extracted from those two documents helped inform us. And then, of course, talking to our neighbors, having those one-on-one conversations, collecting those oral testimonies also ensured that we were informed about what would make our people whole again. And these were specifically talking about the businesses in the Black Bottom area, in the Paradise Valley area, but not excluding the areas that were impacted by the urban renewal, Negro removal, sending highways through different areas in the city.
Food Sovereignty and Nutrition Equity Fund to support Black-owned grocers, cooperatives, community kitchens, and food markets. Where is the funding? Well, first of all, it's a great idea. I wish we had that here in LA. How do you see that working? Where do these funds for all of these programs and proposals come from?
Well, luckily, the city of Detroit already has quite a few of these programs on the books and operating. What we want to do is go in and audit those programs to ensure that they're impacting our audiences appropriately by making sure that Black people are, getting majority of the support from these programs. And again, because the city of Detroit is 75% Black, all of this good policy will impact the majority here in the city, which would be Black people who have suffered at the hands of the city. But yeah, again, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel, and we didn't really want to impose on our standing budgets. A lot of the new programming, after we audit existing programming, that will come from philanthropic arms, that will come from really going in and creating more robust community benefits agreements and upholding and holding those developers accountable. Now that the city of Detroit seems to be enticing for developers. So it's just standing on business and making sure that we call to heel those who violate some of those agreements and contracts with the city. And that's where a lot of the funding may come from.
Yeah. That's always the excuse. I mean, we've heard it ad nauseum here in California. Oh, it's a bad budget year. We really can't afford this. It's not realistic. You already said and rightly so, that, during our ancestors' day, it was, slavery can never be abolished. It's part of, it's part of the fabric of our society. It's part of our, but when you're getting pushback specifically around, budget, and we're in a down year, we're in a down cycle. How do you overcome that?
Well, luckily, again, a lot of the programs that we're discussing are already budgeted for. They're already a part of the city's plans. And our incoming mayor, she was the one who pretty much put this task force together, formed this task force. So hopefully we'll have her support and the support of her administration to continue working on auditing the programs, making sure they're a bit more robust and sustained, and that they're impacting the areas that we've outlined as the most targeted areas. So it won't necessarily just be based on a good or bad budget year. It's like these things are the things that we're already doing. We probably just need to revamp maybe our marketing or removing some obstacles to access for these programs, making sure that they are a little bit easier for people to apply for, and then maybe hiring more people to shrink like the waiting list for a couple of these programs. So those are the types of things that we're trying to get done, hopefully during this first 4 years, this first term for Mayor Mary Sheffield, and then perhaps identifying some gaps to fill with new programming.
Yeah. One of your Detroit papers here, I'm trying to find it, is quoting a member of the task force saying that he doesn't support the recommendations of the task force, saying that it is it became too long. It became an intellectual exercise. Was there, are we talking about healthy sort of debate? It just surprised me that someone would go to the press after working on this process for years and undermine the process itself.
Yeah, so if you do a little bit more digging on that particular member, you'll just see a bit of a pattern there. And like I said, the table was full of academicians and our PhDs, because these are the people who are well-versed in research and a lot of data quantifying and qualifying. So a lot of ideas still do need a lot of back work in order to come to fruition. So it's great to just have an idea to sell people on, but you still have to engineer how these things will work. And that's what we were doing around the table. We were engineering and designing and trying to come up with ways to make these items tangible versus just selling people on the dream of possibilities and programs. So I think that's where a lot of that conversation and where those ideas and opinions may have come from, because we did spend quite a few hours around the table talking about where the funding would come from, who were the targets for those philanthropic donations, what the conversations would be like with our city leaders and with those with the actual power to make these decisions and changes versus garnering just the support of our neighbors and a couple of business people. So, of course, in every group, there's going to be a little bit of strife.
Right, no doubt.
But we've always appreciated that good scrutiny and that good criticism because, if anything, it just encouraged us to get a little bit more innovative and creative.
I mean, really, part of the reason I bring it up is because one of the challenges for the reparations movement, which, you know, I mean, it's a debt that's owed to us, so it shouldn't matter. You got to pay your debts no matter what your opinion is about them. But public opinion has been mixed on. And here in California, people have supported reparations except when it came with a check in terms of public opinion. How is public opinion playing a role there? Are you worried about, are you feeling the impact of this new administration and this sort of anti-DEI energy policy that's going around, or is it pretty strongly supported in your opinion?
Yeah, so we absolutely have strong support here in the city of Detroit. I think our biggest debate that happened publicly was about eligibility, and more so who would be eligible for reparations in the city of Detroit, not necessarily where the money would come from or what that reparations looks like, because we're all pretty much on the same page about needing holistic repair. But yeah, we have support here in the city, and I think it's just coming down to how we start to implement things and making sure people understand that there is no such thing as repairing generations of harm, which is what we experience here in the city. As Black people and throughout the nation, you cannot repair hundreds of years of harm and violation within 2 years or 3 years and with a report, right? It's going to take a lot of time to build out these programs, to see them come to fruition, and to track the progress to measure the impact that it's having.
Yeah, and when we come forward after news, traffic, and sports right here, I do want to dive into how you came to your process, how you came to your conclusion about who is eligible and who is not. It's an interesting formula that you have, and of course that's always going to be one of the most contentious pieces. I think California did a good job on it, but now our governor is kicking the can down the road, trying to stall the implementation of actual reparations by doing yet another study to decide who is eligible. So I want to unbox your process and where you landed on that in Detroit. Detroit Reparations Task Force Co-Chair Cidney Calloway is my guest, and you're listening to Freedman Friday on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now. Mississippi Democratic Representative Benny Thompson, who's a Black man, called out the FBI director for missing a House committee meeting on Homeland Security to discuss worldwide threats to the homeland.
Maybe Director Patel is too busy spending taxpayer dollars flying to his girlfriend's concert on the FBI's jet to answer questions from Congress.
Well, traditionally, on January 1st, the current mayor of New York and the mayor-elect both attend the inauguration of the new mayor. But this year, current mayor Eric Adams, who is a Black man, says he's not sure if he's going to continue that tradition over concerns that mayor-elect Zoran Mandani's supporters will try and make a scene. Finally, sweetened beverages are being stripped from approved SNAP benefit items in Virginia. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Tough loss for the Clippers last night in Houston. They lost by 2 points, 115 to 113, but had two chances in the final 30 seconds to tie it or win it. Kawhi Leonard was charged with an offensive foul, and Nicholas Batum committed a violation on an inbounds pass. Third straight loss for the Clippers. They fall to 6-19. The loss ruined a great game for Clippers center Ivica Zubac. He made 13 of 14 shots to end up with a game-high 33 points. The Lakers are off until Sunday night at Phoenix. USC's football team might have to play their entire home schedule in 2028 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood because of the Summer Olympics. The track and field competition in 2028 will be in the Coliseum, USC's home field since 1923. UCLA is also considering moving its home football games to SoFi, but on a permanent basis. UCLA has played their home games at the Rose Bowl since 1982. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
I got the champagne. Everybody can laugh.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received a first place award presented by the Los Angeles Press Club for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
You belong here. We're glad that you are here. It's a Freedman Friday, and we're talking with Cidney Calloway. She's the co-chair of the Detroit Reparations Task Force. So talk to me about your process and where you landed with who is eligible, because I noticed that your definition seems to be broader than what California landed on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we only have a few requirements for eligibility, that you be Black, of course, because we didn't want to exclude anybody because, again, race is a visual thing, and they're not going to exclude you from the harms. They're going to take one look at you and treat you how they see you. And then we wanted you to be old enough to be able to really use the funds and be able to participate in the programs to make sure that these items were beneficial for your lifestyle and for you. And then we wanted you to live in the city of Detroit, because I was joking with the task force saying that I am young enough to become a reparations nomad if need be. So 3 to 5 years, I can move to any town that's offering reparations to Black people, live there for the extended time required to qualify, get my money, and then move on to the next phase. So we were like, we wanted this to be sustainable, we wanted it to be feasible, and we wanted it to be inclusive, because, again, we didn't want to perpetuate any further harm on our community members. And even though some people may have chosen to come here, they didn't choose to be violated. They didn't choose to be harmed. So we didn't want to exclude anybody, and we also wanted to ensure that we heard everybody's story, because we don't know. We don't know everything about every person.
So the eligibility means, I mean, from what I'm reading, you have to have lived in Detroit 20 years. Mm-hmm. You got to be Black. You have to be the descendant of enslaved, of harmed people, not enslaved, right? Could be harmed by Jim Crow, could be harmed by enslavement. But you don't have to be Black American. You guys have opened it up to anybody who's been in Detroit 20 years who is Black, even if they're Caribbean or African. That here in California was one of the big controversial pieces. Was that a sticking point for you guys?
Yes, so that was one of the longest conversations that we had around the table and with our neighbors during our public sessions. And the reason why we wanted to keep it so open is because, again, they may have chosen to come here. Their families may have chosen to come here, but they did not choose to be discriminated against or harmed or violated in any way. Any illegal actions taken against them, they did not choose for that to be a victim of those instances. So we did not want to exclude them and then continue the harm. We didn't want to perpetuate that harm. So we wanted to make sure that everybody was covered. And then, again, it's not a monolith. We are not all going through the exact same thing. All of our experiences are not the same. So we wanted to leave space for that. And we wanted to make sure that there was capacity to, again, make everyone whole.
But as
many people as possible.
So is it descendant of, because what I'm reading here, it says descendant of an African enslaved in the U.S. or the diaspora. But does it mean that you'd have to be the descendant of someone who was enslaved, or anyone in the diaspora who came to Detroit, was there 20 years and had experienced harms of Jim Crow? Would they also be eligible?
Well, if as a descendant of an enslaved and you come here, more than likely you have been victimized or a victim of Jim Crow or apartheid or whatever you'd like to call it these days. But yes, you did have to be a descendant of an enslaved, but we did not exclude the Caribbean because they have a slave population. We did not want to exclude, any of the islands or any of the areas where we knew the slave trade touched. Because, again, escaping those areas and coming here during whatever period of time, you were still going to be impacted by Jim Crow or discrimination or even police brutality. We did touch on that quite a bit, and that's a bit of a new contemporary lens that we wanted to make sure that we were visualizing this harm through, because when people think of reparations, they only think of slavery and they might think Jim Crow. But even to this day, we have a lot of families who are getting settlements from police forces using police after suffering police brutality, and we need to make them whole as well.
Yeah, I may have, I may have misunderstood too, because it sounds like you do have to be the descendant of an enslaved person and be able to somehow verify that, even though you might be from somewhere else. So if you just came from Africa or anywhere in the world, in the Caribbean, and you can't make that direct connection to an enslaved person, then you wouldn't be eligible.
Correct, but this is what the development of that office is for, is to offer genealogical research services and to make those connections, because it's very, very unlikely that any Black person that's in America right now was not related to an enslaved person at one time or another. So we definitely want to leave that open. And then again, not every program is for everybody. So even if you aren't, luckily, related to anybody that was once enslaved, you might not qualify for some of the programs, but there may be another way we can get resources to you and make you whole in some other way.
But is that reparations? I mean, is it, well, I guess that's the argument that I hear is that reparations? Yeah. I feel like, well, the California Task Force agreed on a lineage model, but they also, may obviously, if some programs that help all Black people are going to help all Black people, whether they're descendants of enslaved persons or not. But part of the conversation is not just about people's opinions of who deserves repair, but also has to do with having a viable legal standard that would hold up to challenges.
Correct. So we definitely have the advice of quite a few lawyers in this movement who are extremely instrumental to the way that we formed a lot of these recommendations and the way we'll go forward crafting our policy and legislation. But again, we did want to leave it as broad and as open as possible to not exclude anybody, because we never know what somebody's experience was. And if it was at the hands of the city of Detroit, we do want to hold the city accountable.
You present this report to the City Council in January, is that correct?
Yes, we're working on a solid date right now.
So what does that look like? What do you hope happens? And, what are the steps, I guess?
Yeah, so we'll be taking about 15 minutes out of a formal session for our City Council presentation in front of all 9 members, hopefully, if everyone's in attendance. And we just want to touch on our major points, making sure that we demonstrate the satisfaction of the resolution and ballot initiative or ballot question, and then just opening the floor up for conversation and questions and answers, because I know quite a few of them were unable to make our public sessions over the years, or only made 1 or 2, but we want to open up the gateways for dialogue happening, especially with us seating 2 new city council people. We wanted to bring them up to speed with what our report was and what our work was, and why it's important that we keep it going, keep this momentum going.
And once you do the presentation to the city council, are they expected to come up with policy plans or proposals as a follow-up to that, or how do we go from presentation to implementation?
Yeah, so our number 1 recommendation is the Reparations Administrative Office. So hopefully that will be a small team of 3 to 5 people that have, expertise in different areas, and they can come together, look over our recommendations, look at the programs that the city is already offering, and kind of match them in spaces to identify some gaps to fill. So then that way we aren't, burdened with creating entirely new programs and policies, but going through our charter to see what the powers that already lie with the city council and what they can implement, and working within those parameters to make sure we're putting out something that's effective within the next 5 years.
All right, we're talking reparations. Cidney Calloway is with us. She's from Detroit, out of Detroit, Michigan, where they have just presented, a little over a month ago, a comprehensive reparations report, almost 600 pages. And that report now is heading to the city council. So Reparations in Motion in yet another American city. We'll look a little deeper at what's inside when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Cedars-Sinai is helping shape the future of Los Angeles, working alongside local communities and showing up with resources and healthcare programs that open doors for people across the city. Through career development programs like Next Gen Healthcare Pathways and partnerships with over 200 organizations like Black Men in White Coats, Cedars-Sinai is educating and empowering future healthcare leaders right here in LA. With access to education, mentorships, and hands-on experiences, we can build a healthier Los Angeles together. Cedars-Sinai, here for LA. Are you coughing a lot, especially at night? Are you often short of breath? Are you using your rescue inhaler often? These could be signs that your asthma is not under control. To keep your asthma in check and help prevent an asthma attack, ask your healthcare provider for an asthma action plan. This is a personalized plan you create with your doctor that shows you what to do and what medicines to help control your asthma and to use when you're having a hard time breathing or when you're having an asthma attack. Please don't wait until you're having an asthma attack. Do something about it now. Schedule a visit with your healthcare provider today to make that action plan and take control of your asthma. For more tips and resources on the management of asthma, visit luma-edu.com. This message is brought to you by Amgen and AstraZeneca.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed, it's a 600-page report. We're not going to unpack the whole thing right now, right in real time on a Freedman Friday, but we're talking with Cidney Calloway, co-chair of the Reparations Task Force for the city of Detroit, Michigan. And give us some, top levels, some highlights for you. Things that you're most proud of or were most surprised by or most hard-hitting coming out of this 600-page report?
Yeah, so again, being the youngest person on this task force, I think it was just the amount of history that was here that I was just unprivy to. So during our time working with Howard Law School and Columbia University, we put together a 3-day reparations tour with the city of Detroit's official historian, Baba Jaman Jordan. And what he did was take us on a tour of the city of Detroit, pointing out specific spots of harm that are still standing today. So I had an opportunity to go touch the Burwood Wall that was erected during the 40s before a developer put up this housing that he was requesting FHA funding for. And that was one of the stipulations, to physically separate this black neighborhood that was already standing from this public housing that was going up. In order to get that public funding, they had to erect a wall that stands about 6 feet tall, is about a foot thick. And seeing things like that, or going and visiting the home of Oxy Sweet, who literally was mobbed by white people when he moved in. And he ended up killing 2 people, but got off because he was protecting his home and protecting his family. Or going to the Sojourner Truth Home, which is a project that was erected during the Great Migration, where, again, white people were physically blocking black people from accessing these homes that were built and constructed for them in this area of the city of Detroit. So being able to see these things in real time, being able to feel the energy that still emanates from these spots of harm for black people, and even hearing the stories from the elders around the table that I had the opportunity to work with, or even my parents during the 67 uprising that happened, that pretty much kicked off and inspired the Kerner Commission report to be produced. It was extremely overwhelming, hearing the stories of how it continues to impact my neighbors and our communities. Again, it's just baffling. But then the internal work and the internal evolution that I underwent as somebody who was raised in the upper middle class in the North Rosedale Park area of the city on the west side, I had the opportunity to attend so many different schools and the privilege to just be exposed to so many things in my city and outside of my city in the Metro Detroit area. I had to deal with my own elitism and my own privilege in order to really do this work and to communicate and talk to my family and friends in other disproportionately divested areas throughout the city. So it was a lot. And I don't know if people really understand that reparations work isn't just about the money. It isn't just about the history, but it's emotionally taxing to hear the stories of humans who are sitting in front of you asking to be made whole, and just the opportunity to participate as full-blown citizens and to be recognized their humanity and to be restored their dignity. So it's quite a bit, and it's definitely more than just money. It's just recognizing the humanity and restoring humanity in society.
Yeah. Tell folks how they can get a piece of a little view of what you're doing. You know, I think the reparations report is available to the public, right?
Yes, DetroitMI.gov/reparations.
Detroit MI for Michigan, DetroitMI.gov/reparations.
Yes.
All right. What do you think? How can we help? Like, how can we support the work that you're doing? I know that from my view, each time another city comes online, each time another task force comes online, it helps normalize, it helps create momentum. But what would you like to see us do?
Yeah, I invite everybody to visit firstrepair.org online. That is the website for the First Repair organization out of Evanston, Illinois, headed by Robin Rue Simmons. Evanston was one of the first cities to actually produce reparations for their constituents, and I got to witness about 20 people receive certificates of reparations over the weekend while I was in Evanston for their 5th annual National Reparations Symposium. So definitely check out First Repair online. There are quite a bit of resources and quite a bit of data there. And I believe we just need to really relearn a lot of the jargon that is attached to the reparations conversation, understanding that this is repair, that we were harmed, that we were violated, that a lot of these acts that were committed against us were illegal. So we have to criminalize this conversation and really keep this momentum going. We cannot shy away from using the words black and white. We don't need to whisper those words in the company of others anymore because we've been uncomfortable since we set foot on this land. So this is an opportunity for us to grow through that uncomfortability and make progress in what this nation could truly and honestly be. So definitely check out firstreparation.org, read the reports that are available there, find some data that's available there. And there are quite a few books that we included in our appendices that not only speaks to the history of the city of Detroit, but it speaks to the current climate for Black people now. So it's a lot of research, it's a lot of reading, but just making this a kitchen table conversation. And then again, social media has been the greatest tool for marketing anything as of right now. So applying pressure for every city that is looking to get these commissions started, that have gotten them started but have run into obstacles. We have to come together as a nation behind these small municipal movements because these pilot cities are what inform state and federal action.
Tell me what, we only got a couple minutes here, Cidney Calloway, but tell me what you got out of the Evanston gathering.
Yes. So this is my third year attending the National Reparations Symposium in Evanston, Illinois. And this is one of my favorite conferences. What they do is they bring together people and experts throughout the reparations movement globally, right? So we're talking about Dr. Ron Daniels with NCOBRA. We're talking about Cam Howard with the, I think he's with NARC. I might be mistaken, but we're talking about having candid conversations and organic moments with some of these people who have been doing this since the 70s and 80s. So the intergenerational knowledge exchange and wisdom exchange and just the tips of the trade. We're bringing in lawyers again from Columbia University and from Howard Law School, and we're bringing in our elected officials. So it's always a fantastic conference to attend. And again, I recommend everybody go at least once, because even though you may not be working on reparations in an official capacity, for your own edification and for your own knowledge, this is an opportunity to really fine-tune your conversation that you may have with a neighbor that you might want to encourage or persuade to support this movement. Or just when you take this home to your neighborhoods and your municipalities, who you can talk to move some of these ideas forward. So it's only about 300, 400 people. So that's a perfect size for a conference. You can get coffee right before a session starts. You're seeing the same faces over and over, and it develops. You get to develop rapport and familiarity with some of the people throughout the nation who are working on this. So that was Evanston. And then also they have First Repair has a brick and mortar resource center there where they hold the books that are inspiring and motivating us, informing us on this work. And then they're holding the publications from these reparations task force and commissions throughout the nation, throughout the world. So you can always go there to refer to things because, again, these are things that have happened throughout the nation in 1.5 million different Black communities. So none of it is new. We just have to get creative about how we repair each community.
Yeah, that's well said. You got 60 seconds here, Cidney Calloway. I grant them to you to use them how you will.
Sure. Again, I just definitely want to thank you for having me on. I want to thank all your listeners for tuning in and paying attention to a topic like this. But I definitely want to boost the First Repair organization. I want to boost our report, at least those first 30 pages. And then I'd also like to plug a book called Plunder by attorney Bernadette Atuahene. She wrote this in regards to the housing crisis that we are facing right now as Black people in Detroit and throughout the nation, the way that it reverberates. So thank you again so much, Dominique, for having me on, and I appreciate you, KBLA. All
right. Well, we appreciate you, too. Thanks for all the work you're doing, Cidney Calloway, and thanks for keeping reparations rolling even in tough times. I think it's so crucial.
Absolutely. Thank you.
News, traffic, and sports, and then the iconic historian and activist around ancient Kemet, Ashra Kwesi, joins me in studio on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIA.